Okay, so we'll go back to our drawing board. So last time we discussed that in how are the different ways we are creating fields, right? In a custom object or a standard object, we can create new fields. Now, uh, how can we create fields and make different ways of doing it? One of the important part of making fields is that how do I make it mandatory, right? A mandatory check is very required most of the time when we work with fields, many a times. So we have seen that we can make a field mandatory using in the field itself. You can make a field mandatory in page layout, and you can make mandatory using a validation rule. What is validation rule? We'll go into detail, but let's understand this. So if we make a field mandatory, that automatically makes it mandatory in page layout also. You can make a field mandatory directly on page layout. That does not mean the field will be mandatory. And if you make validation rule mandatory, through validation rule, if you make it mandatory, it will also be applicable for page layout. Yeah, and at a field level also it will be applicable. So in data loading also you have to, it will fire. So if you make changes on the field type, then not only UI but in data also it is applicable. Data loader it is applicable. Page layout only works for the screens. Page layout mandatory only works for screens. And if you make it validation rule specific, validation rule will work for the screen also and also for database. Okay, so let's see in details, and we will again last after discussing validation rule, we will understand what is the use, what like which one to use when. So first let's talk about validation rule. What is a validation rule? Validation rule. Now what comes to your mind by hearing this validation rule?
It works like logic gets in computer.
Now logic is there everywhere. So rule means logic is inbuilt. But
For
what is this
creating any
logic doing?
formula?
Huh?
For creating any formula?
No. Anything else?
Sir, to validate anything?
Validate anything. Validate what?
The security levels?
No. Validation rule is for validating data or user inputs on any field.
Sir, user inputs means what the user can.
What is his
input
typing?
in Salesforce? Okay.
Yeah. On the field, you put in a text box, you will put some data, right?
Yes, sir.
That is a user input, right? In the input field will accept data. That in user input, if you want to validate, then you use a validation. Please remember, when we are creating a field type or we are using a field type, like if we are doing a like a date field, then there is a validation automatically Salesforce is doing for checking the data, right? That is also a validation that is happening. So that validation is called system validation. You cannot put any character in a numeric field, right? So that is automatic validation. This is happening. This is system validation. You don't have to do anything by choosing the right field. Already you are telling the application that I want user to only put this kind of data. That is, system is already taken care of. This is out of box. Nothing from your side is needed to be done. Validation rule is required to create custom validation. That means something which is not supported using field types. What can be the different logic? One, that making a field mandatory, not blank. Possible. This might be a rule. Why will I use this and not page layout or other? That we'll discuss later. But it can be done. Logic, right? Any logic. You say only allow values from 10 to 100. not more than that. If this value is something like this, the field 1 has some value, then field 2 should have only these values. Anything else I will not accept. So these kind of things, customized logic, business specific logic, if you want to create, then you have to write a validation rule, right? So this is basically the customer will ask that I don't want users or customers who has no GST number. Block that. Or I can say, they can say that validate the GST format. It should start with this, right? If this value is not provided, then that is a wrong GST number he's providing. These will be ideal cases for creating a validation rule. Now let us look at those validation rules. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So let me go to our favorite object, account. In the field and relationship, we can see all these fields are there. Let us say that I want to make the account number mandatory. Can I do that? You see, there is no option of making this required. Standard objects, if you want to make any standard object required, you cannot change it on the field type. Sorry, standard fields. Okay. So standard fields needs to be made mandatory.
Yes, sir.
Only
Yes, sir. As you have told in custom validation only, sir, we can do that. Only custom objects.
yes, custom fields.
Yes, sir. In custom fields, we can only do that.
Yeah.
Custom validation. You
Custom.
told in at custom.
Right. So custom fields, if I create a new field, then I can make it required. Or if you see, is there, see, active is a, yeah, customer priority is a, let's go to ID field, or no, my ID field, right? If I go to this field, this is a custom field. I can make this required. Here's this is required. If I do that, immediately this field becomes validation, required field. It will also show up. Let's see that. We'll see this. Anyway, so in the field, but account number, I also want to make it valid, like mandatory. One of the ways of doing it is to go to page layout, go to account, and I can go to this account number. Here, I can make this required. If I make this required, what will happen is that in the screen, it will be required. It will behave the same way. Let us see this. Let us create a new account now. See, red star on account number. My ID also red star has come. So account number, if I don't put anything and save it, you see, it's asking for account number and my ID. I put some values. Still account number is needed. Now it is allowing me to save. If I go to account field, in the field layout, you see my ID required is automatic checked, and you cannot disable it because it is already done in the field level. If you want to load a data on account, my ID need to be provided. That column has to be there. Otherwise, you will not be able to create that account. But you can bypass account number. You cannot bypass on screen, but you can bypass this on the data loader, because it will only work on this page layout, this specific page layout. Okay. Now, but if I want to do some validation for data loading also and in screen also, right? How can I do that? I can go to validation rule down below, or directly on the field itself. If you want to go here, also new validation rule is there. Here I say number mandatory. What would be my logic? My logic will be the condition which I want to block. Which condition I want to block? I want to block when this field is blank, isn't it? So I can go to account number. I can go to equal to quotation is blank, right? Let's check syntax. No errors found. I will say that account number cannot be blank. I can show this error message directly on the top of the screen, or I can show it just beside the actual field which I want to use. So let's now save it. When you do a validation rule, it is very important that validation rule will not do any changes on the layout. So in the layout, that field will not show a red star. It is still caching this old one. Just give me 1 second. It's gone now. So now I test validation. You see, I have not put my ID. It is asking me back. I will put my ID. Account number does not have a red star. See, now my validation rule is running and it is saying account number cannot be blank. So this is the validation rule is a blocker which works not only for new, it will also work for the edit. So if this account is already created, right? If I edit it and remove the value, it will also throw that same validation rule. Whenever you are trying to save a record, your validation rule will fire and make sure all the fields on which the validation rule has been made, that condition is taken care of. Otherwise, it will block it. So validation rule is a blocker. It blocks from saving a record. So the condition you are doing inside it is a condition which you want to block. A better way of writing this same validation rule is like this, using some functions. Let's see what functions can be used.
In this case, I think we can use is blank function.
Yes, absolute. You're right. So here, there are many different kinds of functions are there. If you don't select anything, all the functions are is blank. You can check what is this. Is blank is an expression. In expression, you can put anything. checks whether an expression is blank or returns true or false. And returns true or false. So if is blank, and here I will insert the account number. Check syntax. Exactly the same thing. I run the once again. Same, right? So validation rule we have seen. Validation rule helps not only in blanking, we can also say that we put some other values. Let's see account number. If I want account number to be numeric, so I want here is a value. Value converts a string character that represents a number to a number. Okay, let's use a value, and I say account value should not be greater than 100. Now I am not doing a blank check. I am doing value should not be greater than 100. Why did I have to use a value? Because it's a text field. Was a numeric field? Nothing was needed. Again, hit a set account number. Account number should not be greater than 100. If I make it 100, what will happen?
It won't save again.
It won't save.
Won't save because it will save. It must be less than 100, right?
Sir, can't be greater than 100. When up till 100 you can save.
Yes. What
Okay.
if I want to block 100 also?
So greater or equal to?
Equals to, yes.
sir.
Absolutely
Yes,
right.
greater
So
or equal.
here you have to change to greater than or equal. This one. Okay. That means both conditions. Now if you go, even if you go to the same record, right, which you just saved, you edit this and save it, it will block it. Yeah. Now it will take till 99. 99.9999 also, if it's a numeric value. Anyway, so the idea is you can write your own logic for validating user inputs. There are several formulas there. You can play around it, understand what these formulas are doing, and there can be many situations in which validation rule will be used. Okay, so there are mathematical calculations, weak, VLOOKUP also is there. Okay, so this is very exciting stuff which you can look at. So mandatory, I will just switch it on. Now I will see another rule today. That rule we'll talk about. So before that, I want to go to the drawing board. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. If you want to have multiple logic put together, what if I want a value between 100 and 1000? How will I write the logic here?
Using AND function.
What would be the logic? Give me that logic. So there are two logic, right? I want to block. So there are two let's get into two requirements. One requirement is values should be between 100 to 1000. If that is a requirement, what would be the logic here?
Greater than 100 and less than 1000.
These two logic, right? These two logic. Now, how to connect
Yes.
these two? There are two different logic. How to connect these two logic?
Sir,
Using
by
a
giving
function. And function.
and function, yes.
And why and? Why not or?
Because the AND function will check if the whole logic is
So because
right.
and function will check both the parameters.
And make sure that all you have everything.
All the
needs to be
conditions
true.
is matched.
And mean all conditions needs to be true. Or
Needs
means
to be matched.
any is true. Okay. So please remember that or is any and is all. So here both the condition needs to be satisfied. Then only I will be able to save the record. Now, please remember this. What are you allowing is this. This is the formula which is giving you what are you allowing. Validation rule you are writing not for allowing. Validation rule you are writing for blocking. So what will you block?
I will block anything greater than 1000.
Yes.
In this.
There are many ways of doing this. The easiest way is if you have a requirement wherein they are telling you a range that they want to allow. What you should do is that put this range like this and then use a not function. Bas, your game is done. So what is happening here? This value and this value, anything, this is the condition which is giving you the value which is allowed, and anything which is not these, that is not function, that I will block, right? So a not function outside of this is absolutely fine. Easiest way, right? Sometimes you get ranges of allowable value. In that case, not is a better way of doing it. You just put down the allowed parameters and then use a not outside it to write the validation rule. Otherwise, if you don't want to use the not, so not gate in will reverse the condition which is inside. That means if you don't want to use this not, then you have to use a or condition. And this has to be noted. You can put individually a not condition on both and use a or. So see what is happening now. Not account number greater than 100. That means if you are not using a not, what would have meant? If you are not using not, basically it would have meant like this. Ulta, isn't it? And if you would have not used not here, then this should have been reverse. Now let's look at this formula once again. If the account is less than 100 or the account number is greater than 1000, I should block it. right?
Yes, sir.
That is the validation. So you can write it in many, many ways. Please know that. Okay. So you have to be crystal clear on the logic part and how the not and parameters play with it.
Here the not function works like a double inverse. If we double inverse something, it's straight. It's like
No,
that.
either you change the operator, then you don't need a not parameter. If you don't want to change the operator, then you want to reverse this, then use a not parameter.
Yeah.
Right. Individually, if you are having a not condition on individual conditions in a or clause, what you can do is that you can take the not outside and make and on each condition. I will show that on a whiteboard. I think easy. It will be a little easier to understand.
This is fine also.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah, this is fine also.
So I think let's see.
Yes, sir.
Let's see this in so that everybody, because this many times I see people struggle on this logic building. So I want you to be very clear on this, because this would be needed again and again. Particularly for validation rule, it can get very complicated for some requirements. Okay, so what I was telling is, first, please remember validation rule is not allowing values. Validation rule is blocking values. Please remember, validation rule is a blocker. So if you are getting a condition of allowed values, then you have to reverse that into come up with a validation rule. If you are getting a not allowed values, then that's very easy. Then you just write the validation rule on the not values, not allowed values. Sometimes you get allowed values. In that case, you have to reverse it. Sometimes you get not allowed values. Then directly you use that condition into the validation, right? Secondly, not A or not B is equal to not A and B. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Again, not A and not B is equal to not A or B. Clear? Thirdly,
Yes, sir.
So this is the situation. Another part is that there is a function also which you can use, which might make it a little more readable, particularly for two or three maximum. You can use this operator based logic. If it is more logic involved, then probably it will be very difficult for you to read with these operators, a double pipe operator and double ampersand operator. So you probably cannot use this much if you this operator and this operator, this is basically and this is or. And so instead of using this, there is a smarter way of doing it. There is a function called and. In and you can write A, comma B, comma C, comma D, all conditions. Similarly, there is a or condition also where you can write A, comma B, comma C, comma D. Same. It will be a little easier to understand. We'll see how it works. So this condition, how can I remove this and or thing? I can just make a comma in between them, and outside I write a and. Simple. Same thing. Here for readability, I can do like this. Very easy for you to read, right? Now, if there are many conditions, it will very easy for you to understand what I am trying to do, what I am trying to block. So use this and or functions that will make more readable stuff. It is exactly the same with the operator version or function version. Both are there. You can choose to use it. Most of the time you will be using and or. All the time you will be using and or, because there will be multiple situations, multiple conditions you have to join. For joining multiple condition, and or logic would be required. It may so happen that you have multiple things, like a and is needed on A and B condition, but with C condition it needs to be or. It can get complicated like this. So that means logic A and B will be and with there is another logic that has to be or. So the logic is either A and B or C. Okay. So there can be very complicated games also. So please practice it. I think in the Trailhead there is already a solution which is similar to this one. It's an A and B and then or with C. Okay. So therein this bracket will make it a little more readable. Otherwise, what you have to do, you have to write it like this: A and B inside a bracket, and then or with C. Clear, guys? This is the same thing, no difference. Okay. If there are no questions, we'll jump to the next topic, which is called workflow. So we talked about validation rule. Validation rule is giving you blockers to validate data. But validation rules fire before saving of record. Right? If the validation rule is blocking it, then the record does not get saved, right? So it blocks, or it basically is functioning on the hit of the save button, but it actually does not save that data into database. It first checks it, fires it, checks the validation rule. If it passes, then only you can save the data. But there is a new thing called workflow rule, which is firing after save. So what is its job? Data is already saved. I cannot do anything with the data. After save is required for some things to do, maybe sending emails. Sending email alerts is one of the job which maybe I want to do. Maybe there is some condition when it reaches, I want to intimate somebody that this order is now in change of state. Opportunity is now in negotiation stage. Let me inform this person through email, automatic email. So email alert can be done. Now workflow. You can create tasks. Four things you can do. Third is update fields automatically. Some field value you want to auto calculate and update it. You can do that. And fourth is outbound messages. That means sending data outside of Salesforce. That means to another system, which is not Salesforce. This advanced topic will not cover this. We'll talk about these three. So email alerts, creating tasks, and how to update fields. So let's see these two, email alerts and field update. That is mostly you will be using it for the workflow rules. So all with what we are talking today is logic driven, and it automatically automates some things too. Either it automates validation or it automates some work, right? Like email, sending emails, it is automating. Like updating some fields automatically, right? So this is automation. So this is called process automation. So two kinds of process automation which we will all right now see. Already validation rule is one. So in the home, you go to process automation, or you can directly search with workflow rules. It comes under process automation. So this is the workflow rules. Here, the first job to create the rule is which object should I fire it on? Maybe on the account, maybe on the account object. What is the rule name? Maybe active status. Change. I want to fire it only once when the record is created, or I want to fire it every time when the record is edited, or a special situation in which this wants to fire. Let's make it special situation. Active. Equals. Yes. So if the account equals yes, then only I want this to be fired. That means it changes to yes. Otherwise, it will not. Every time you edit, it will not fire. It will. If you want that to happen, then you have to choose this. But here, if you select it, that every time it changes from a no to yes, then only this will fire. Yeah, that is what it is meant by this. Any item, it is edited to subsequently meet criteria. That means this criteria is fulfilling through change. If that is happening, then only this will fire. Okay. So this rule is created. Now I have to do some actions. You see, I can create tasks. I can send email alert. I can send field update. I can send outbound messages. So these, you can save these things and you can select it for other workflows. So that is the last option. So let's create a email alert. Before creating email alert, I have to create an email body, right? What I want to send to people. For that, you have to create an email template. There is a classic email template. There is a lightning email template. I think we'll use the classic email template. Let's see. There's a text and there are many forms, but let's keep it simple. Let's have text. You can explore this more. So unified public, it should be. And this is a smart field generator. I will show you where it is used. So what is the name? Account status change. Subject, account status change. The account you own has is now active. This is the message I will send to users, the account owners. But which account? The same message will go for every account change, right? Maybe he's owning 5-6 account. You will not understand which account basically is getting changed, right? So I have to put some details about that account. But that is every account will be different, right? How can I do that? So I have to go to account fields, select a field, maybe the account name. So if this generates a merge field, I copy this and I paste it here. Now this will replace runtime when the workflow rule is firing for that specific account. I'll save it. So this is the, you can send test and verify merge field, that also you can do, but available for use, you have to make it available for use. So I have published it. Now I go back to my workflow. This workflow is there, active status change. I will go and add now a email alert. New email alert. Account status email. Which email template? I created an email template. Account status change. I select that. Whom should I send? I will send to account owner. Save it. Second work I can do is that I can do a field update. Its name is what? Maybe I can change the account number. Field which I want to change, account number. Next, I can set up for formula. I go to formula editor. What I do is that I will insert account number and add a blank and add a text called, not blank, maybe hyphen. Yeah. So what I am doing, I am adding hyphen active to my whatever value is there in the account number. By default, I am done. I have to go and activate this workflow. First, I have to check if I have the active field here on the UI or not. Yeah, is there. Good. So let us now check this. Go and edit it. So now what I will do, I will go and set this. So let's put some value. Account number is there, account number 99. And I will set this to true. Yes, and I save it. You see, account number is now changed to 99 hyphen active. So automatically the value in this field got updated. And if I go to my Gmail, I have got a new mail which is saying the account test validation rule you own is now active. What is test validation rule? This is the name of the account. So I have fired an email. I have also updated a field. Validation rule, a workflow rule, also works on fields which is the parent of a master data relationship. That means you can write a workflow rule on the child object and you can even update the parent fields. It will not work for lookups. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So workflow rule and validation rule, any questions on that?
No, sir.
Great, fantastic. So what are the limitations of a workflow rule? But why workflow rule is important? Workflow rule is the smartest automation. which is or like fastest automation that is possible. So if I stop share, as I said, workflow rule only allows 4 things. It does emails, tasks, create tasks, send emails, field updation, and outbound messages. These 4 tasks only. It is limited to that. Please notice, you cannot create records. You cannot update on lookup relationships, lookup relationships. Those you cannot work on. Secondly, you cannot work on child objects. Right? Many limitations, right? Workflow, but still it is there because this is the fastest and very easy way to configure it. But what if I need to do these activities? I have a requirement. Whenever an account is created, automatically a contact should be created for that account. If I have a requirement like this, can I do that using workflow? What do you think? We cannot, right? Create object is not there, right? So what if I have to do this? For this, there are 2 more processions that is possible. One is called processes, and another thing is called flows. So let's talk about processes and flows. I will deactivate it so that these do not conflict with each other. So what my requirement is that whenever I create an account, immediately there should be an automatic contact that gets created. Can I do that using workflow? I cannot, right? I cannot create record in workflow. So I go to again process automation. Now you see process automation, there are many things. One of these things is called process builder. So if I go to process builder, new, I say automatic contact. That's my process, right? When will I do this change? When the record changes, right? Now this is my orchestrator. Here I have to select which object is account, right? When do I want this to be running? When the record is created or when the record is edited. So I will do it on the create only, and I will do a save. What is the criteria? Criteria is active account. That when the account is active, then only I will create this. So let's select active. Choose equals to pick list value. Yes, is the criteria, right? I can have multiple criteria, but I think one condition is fine. So when the account is active, if I create a account and then the account is active, I will take immediate actions. So what actions? I can create a record. I can do many things. You see, email alert. I can fire a flow from here. I can update records. I can do anything. So here I will be using a create a record. Action I say create contact. What record type I want to use? Contact, right? here it will show you the mandatory fields which is needed. Yeah. So you remember that first name is not mandatory in a contract, right? First name is there. Let's name it automatic automatic, and I will say contact. Here, if I make it like automatic contact, every account I create, it will have a child called automatic contact. So I will not be able to distinguish between them. So what I do, I create a formula field. I will say, I will insert the account's number or account name plus, I will give a blank. Then I will say, or contact. Right? Save. Done. Second, yeah. Another thing is missing here is that I did not associate the contact with the account, right, on which it is firing. So I have to go to field reference and I will to say here I need the ID field. Now what is happening? This rule is firing on account. I am taking the ID of the account and I am putting it in the account ID field of contact. That is how the relationship is getting created, right? Invalid. What is invalid? Let's see this. Let's start from fresh. Okay. So now what is happening is that I activate it. Now let's test it. Auto contact. My ID I have to put something. And in active, I will say this is yes. You see, a new contact is automatically created. What is the name we have given? First name is automatic, last name is auto contact, and it is picking up auto contact here. It is also associating this here. So process builder is another way in which we can create automatic records and do this. Can I do this any other way? Yes. Let's go to the process builder and deactivate this. You see, this is activate. And deactivate. keep on modifying it, it will change the versions. Go to home, process builder. Here you will have these flows. Flows can be many types. If you want to create a flow, there are so many different flows you can create. Flows is a very, very sophisticated tool. And this is very, very important session. Please pay attention. If you learn flows well, you can do a lot of job of a developer. A lot of job. Wherein coding was needed previously, coding can be completely removed and flows can do very sophisticated things which was required to be programmed before. Here, screen flow is if you want to create screens. Record triggered flow means when the record is created, update or delete. This is exactly what we need for the same requirement, right? Schedule triggered flow, it will launch at a specific time in the day. Platform event, these are advanced topics which we'll cover later. So let's create a flow. Same. I will have to choose my object. And I can put my formula here also. I will say active equals yes. That is my condition, right? Then these are the things which you have to use. So what I am trying to use here, I will directly create a record, right? So I will drop a create record. You can use separate resources. You see, if you use a separate resources here, then you see you can put the values here. So if I say object is account, sorry, not account, I will go to create contact. So it will give you fields like first name, what is the value? Automatic, right? Last name, maybe I will put some. Last time I want to use from my account, right? Here, this is the variable record. Record means that account. Record name, right? And then I will say contact. Lastly, account ID, right? I have to fulfill. Here, I will again go back to my record and I will take only the ID. Done. What is the error? I have to give it the name create contact. That's it. I join this. Save. Finish. And I activate it. If I go to here now, I go to another account and I create it. Account name is flow. Automatic test flow, flow contact. This is the name of the contact which you got created from the flow. Pretty easy, right? Flow can be also utilized to create screens. So if I go to flow, I can create embedded screens. I can create actions also. So let's create a screen flow. If I go to the flow, here is a screen flow. Here I can put a screen. And in screen, I can put a name field. Yeah. And I say, maybe I will put an MP and done. Invalid component. What is that? I have to put some values. Let's say contact contact info. Flow is created. After flow is created, what we have to do? I have to again use separate resources from which object contact. What is the value? They will create contact. First name. Where will I get this value from? I will create it from contact info screen component. You see, this is a screen component. Here, the first name I will take it. Add last name of contact. What will I do? Same contact info last name. Add field. Here the account lookup I can create. That is not there. So for us, for now, let us stick to this. We'll update that later. So this is the create contact screen. And do I save? And I say create contact screens. Simple. And activate it. Now what happens is that I have to go to my object manager. I can go and embed this flow inside my any page. Like if I go to contact, there is in account. If you go to account, here you can go and click the account. Here you can go and you can see edit page is there. If you go edit page, through this you can change or make changes in the account page itself as a whole. Is exactly the whole page, whole account page. You see, this is all what you are seeing. So here there is a flow component. So I will go and drop my flow here. And I will select create contact screen, save it, and activate it. And I will make it a org default. Right? So now what will happen if I go to the account page? Here, that screen flow has come in. If I put a name is screen and do a next, go to contact, you see this screen contact is created. We can also do this from here. We can fire this same flow even from actions. You can create a new action, assign this flow to that. So this is embedded flow. The action, then it will open the screen in as a pop-up. So both possibility is there. Let's do that. If I can go back to the setup, go to account, here button links and actions are there, right? So let's create new action. See, I can make a flow, the contact screen flow. I say create contact. Save. This is a new action which we have created. And I will go to the layout, go to page. See now quick actions, you will see. Sorry. Yeah, mobile lighting actions. What is that? Notice me create contact is there, right? So I have to override this part and I have to drop this here. And if I save it, create contact is here. The same window is now opening. Test screen. You go to contact. Test screen 2 is now created. So flow can be used not only to do automatic things from record changes, but also you can create screens. So if you get, so previously you had to write a trigger for writing record specific changes. Now flow has replaced it. You can, for screens, you have to write components, lighting components. For simple things, you can use flows. Flows has become very powerful. Flows is very, very important for you to learn. I will give some assignments on flows. Please complete those assignments. Real life projects, I have chosen it from real life projects, and that should enable you for the flows. We will also do a assessment of you based on how good you have picked up flows, and based on that, that will help you position you for different job opportunities and so on. So please be very particular about learning flows. Okay. Second part is last part of the day is another automation which is left out. It is already overwhelming for you guys, or it is you're finding it fine? Let me know.
Fine, sir.
Yes,
Great.
sir, fine.
So this is the last one. This is approval process. So this is the another very important and crucial part for you. For usually approval process is required. I think it will work wonderfully if I choose opportunity object rather than account. So think about a situation that I don't allow users to change opportunity to close status. I want in negotiated phase, submit it for approval. If my higher boss approves it, it automatically becomes closed won. If my boss rejects it, it becomes closed lost. So based on approvals, I want to close my opportunity. How do I do that? I have to first go to the page layout, and there is something called submit button. I think it's already there. Submit for approval, right? So I will add this button here and save it. If I go back, go to opportunity screen, this is a, let's create a new opportunity. account, test flow, closed it, stage, prospecting, save. I want to go to negotiated stage. And then I want to send this for approval. So if I submit for approval, you will see this screen. Submit. No applicable approval process was found because you did not create any approval process steps. So I have to go and create an approval process for my opportunity. Here in opportunity object. Create. There are two different ways, but I think Jumpstart Wizard is fine. So I will say opportunity approval. You can put some conditions like opportunity status stage equals this one, negotiation and review. Only this status will go for approvals, otherwise not. There are different ways of choosing your approvers. You can manually choose it, and the system can automatically choose that also. So there are different ways, but let's keep it manual. So approval process is now done, but here I have to now determine what the approval will do. And when you put any approval, any record for approval, automatically it will lock the record. Okay, till the approval is done. So lock means you cannot edit it. Only admins can edit. So what is the approval step? The first step is step 1 is manually chosen. And what is the approval? Final approval action. I can do a field update, right? I say opportunity zone. Field to update is opportunity stage. What will I change this value to? Closed zone. So if final approval, when the approval is done, I will put the field state update to opportunity 1. And if I reject, what will I do? Opportunity lost. Automatically, I will change this to stage. Opportunity will be closed list. Right? So if I approve, it will automatically change. And I can also send mail also if you want, but it is what it is. I want to now activate it. Okay. Now you see, I will go to the approval process. Since this is already in the negotiated stage. What will happen if I change this stage to previous stage? No applicable approval, right? Because it is not picking up. I change this stage to this one. Submit for approval. Now it has fired approval, right? It is asking me which user should approve. So I will put myself as the my manager. I will make only one user is there. So I will make myself the approver also. And I will submit it. So this record has now gone for approval. What happens if you go to mailbox? I have got an approval request, which is giving me a link. This I have to use to approve the record. So if I click this one, it takes me to this screen wherein I can approve, reject, or reassign to another person for approval. So let me approve this. If I do that and I go back to that same opportunity and refresh it, please check this. It is a negotiated stage. It is now closed one. What if I change this and resubmit it for again, and this time I reject it. Let's see that. Again, I have got another mail. I will click this. This time I will reject it. What will happen now? I will go and refresh. It will show close lost. Clear, guys? So that's how approvals also work in Salesforce. All the process automations, most of them, the most important ones are covered today. A lot of data, a lot of things which we have talked about. I will upload this session soon after. Please review this, thoroughly practice this, particularly flows. Flows are the most important ones. Any questions?
No, sir.
All clear?
Sir, you told us that you will provide us with assignments.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you will give different assignments to everyone, like?
No. Same assignment.
Oh, same assignments to everyone. Okay.
I will put on the WhatsApp. If an assignment will come on the last level when we are evaluating. Right now it is for practice.
Yes.
But try to do it on your own rather than getting help. Right?
Yes, sir.
That
Yeah.
is important. Okay. So if we are done, then I will close for the day. Have a nice weekend. A nice day ahead.
Animesh, make me host, please, and you can close down because you have to record the session.
Yes, I will.
Make me host and log off and then log in again.